Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on what part of the world you're watching from. I'd like to welcome everyone to this unique episode. It's a very interesting topic we are discussing today. But before I do that, I'd like to introduce our guests for today. Welcome, Dr. Stella Ozigi.
Hey. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
I can see someone's very strong gene running through your blood.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, very interesting.
And of course, that's who we're talking about today. The resilient Rekiya.
Ozigi, that's my mom.
Yes. So can you please tell us more about her journey?
Yes. So where do I start from? From the very beginning.
Yes.
Sound of music, right?
Exactly.
Great. So my mom is a very strong woman. She has always been that pillar that we always look up to. You know, she's always been that strong woman who is in charge, who knows what she's doing, who is focused, who is disciplined, and who just loves life and loves people. She's someone who is passionate about seeing that anything she starts is finished. She doesn't do things halfway. She's a very resilient person. She's a woman of virtue. She's a woman of valor. She's strong, like the Oriki of where she comes from, which is Ibira. You know, they call her Ozudu. So it means the child of a lion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. No wonder.
So that's
No wonder.
So she actually manifests that trait in what she does, in who she is. You know, she's a go-getter. You know, that's who my mom is.
She's indeed a living legend, and I believe the world should hear her story. And that's why we're writing and staging a play titled The Resilient Rekia. Because I believe there were principles she stood for, there are values she added to her generation that the world needs to hear more about. So we're actually staging a biopic for her to tell her story.
So a biopic, like, can you tell us a little bit more about the biopic?
Okay.
Explain it.
A biopic is a combination of two words: biographical picture, meaning telling the true life story of a real person that lived on the earth. So I believe we need to tell her story.
That's very, very true.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that actually brought about this whole talk about my mom, you know, was the fact that when I came back from the UK, because I was in the UK for about 10, 11 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I came back, I met my mom she had lost my dad, and there were just so many things going on with her, you know. So I started observing her. It was like, this is not the mom I used to. So I spent a lot of time with her because she developed one or two health challenges. So she's not been that, you know, outgoing woman mother that I knew before I left. You know, she was someone that should go for occasions, should go for weddings, naming ceremonies, burials, everywhere. She's there for people. She was a society woman. She was someone who loved people, you know, and so coming to see how she is, and what has, you know, how life happens to her, you know, I started observing some things on I actually had to do a lot of introspection to think and ask myself certain questions that, how did this woman get to where she is? What are those principles that I can glean from her while I still have her? And then that made me do a lot of reflective thinking. It made me do a lot of research. It made me ask her a lot of questions. In fact, I seized the opportunity that I never had before. I sat down with her, asked her questions about you know, about everything you can think of, you know, and through that I learned a lot about how she navigated through life, even how she met my dad.
Oh.
She told me about that. I was like, how did he toast you, sir? You know, so yeah, we talked about all that, and I'm true that I learned a lot about her values, her principles, and what she stood for. You know, and honestly, when I had this conversation with her, or throughout the period I've been observing her and, seeing the way she does things, I just felt like, look, I shouldn't keep this to myself. The world needs to hear about your story. The world needs to hear about who you are, how you have gotten here. You know, my mom has gone through a lot,
Wow.
her journey and everything, but we will talk about that as time goes on. But right now, so that was one of the things that I looked at, that I felt, look, Stella, don't keep this to yourself. Share it with the world. Let every other person learn from your mom's experience. Let them see and understand what it takes as a professional, as a woman, to own a business, and to keep it sustained for up to 45 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, 45 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I heard that she started 2 schools, one in Kwara State and another one in Abuja. How did she do that?
That's part of her journey, and that's part of the things that I found out while I've been spending time with her. You know, all it takes is for you to just start, and that's what my mom did. She just started. You know, with 7 children, right from Zaria, she started. It grew. At some point, she had to leave Zaria and relocated to Ilorin when my dad was appointed as a commissioner in Ilorin. So she had to move to Ilorin, and she started with 7 children again in Ilorin.
7?
Yes,
What's it about 7?
7. I really. And then that was the first. The next one she started, and then from there the school grew. That was Abdulaziz Atat. So that's the school that was in 1981. Where was I? I was in primary school then. My gosh, I'm actually old. Yeah, so that started in 1981, and it's still in existence today. The school is still doing well. And then when we moved to Abuja, that was in 1995, she started Raberto School with 7 children again. The 7 is the number of perfection, actually. Yeah, yeah. So she started with 7 children in Abuja, and it grew till where we are today in Raberto School. So yeah, that's just my mom's journey, and her lucky number is 7.
7. Wow, there's something about 7. All right, that will be all for this episode. Watch out for the play The Resilient Rekiya coming up on Sunday, the 19th of July 2026 at the Raberto Schools. You don't want to miss it. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Dr. Stella Ozigi.
Thank you very much.
To have you in our show.
Thank you.
Yeah.